Littleton Public Schools is a dynamic and highly respected district serving approximately 13,000 students. The LPS Toddcast with Superintendent Todd Lambert is a venue for us to tell you all about the news, initiatives, events, and people who make up the LPS story.
Hello, friends, and welcome to this episode of the Toddcast. I'm joined by my co-host, Jonathan Levesque. John, great to see you. Why don't you tell the audience what we're going to do today?
We have an exciting episode today. We have our friends from Epic Campus here. We have Beth Best, our industry partner coordinator, and we have a student, Mason Ruckle, and he is part of our internship program at Epic.
Oh, that's great. We're going to learn a lot of things today. You know, one of the things we always like to do on the Toddcast is start off with an icebreaker question, and you do such a great job with those questions. What do we got today?
Well, kind of an interesting one. What is the worst fashion trend you've participated in? Mason, I'm going to put you on the spot since you're our guest. What is the worst fashion trend?
I've definitely gone through many, but I think the worst one definitely has to be colored hair. I did have that back in middle school.
Wow.
It was pretty bad.
What was your favorite color?
Oh, probably red, honestly.
Yeah?
So it was pretty
cool.
bad.
Beth, what about you?
Yeah, I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, and there was a lot of fashion trends happening around Madonna at that time. I didn't choose that because I came from a very athletic family. So what I did is I would steal my brother's tube socks. Do you remember those tube socks that had the color, like a blue stripe around the top or red?
Very
or green?
70s.
So I would steal my brother's socks and I would scrunch them down around my ankles, kind of like the Madonna look. But then I would wear red high-top Converse and Bermuda shorts because I wasn't really a material girl. So there you have it. I was really more of a sporto.
Well, there you go. Todd, what about you?
You know, like Beth, I was in those early 80s time, and one of the things at that time, and I'm just going to admit it now, full disclosure, I got a perm. And my friends did. It was cool to have wavy hair. And it's really funny, too, because my senior picture, I still have a little bit of it in there. So it looks kind of cool, but now it's not so much.
Cool. Okay. Great. I was born in the 80s, grew up more in the 90s, but I pinch rolled my pants for church. Looked really nice on church Sunday. So that's where I was.
Isn't it funny to look back on all those? Boy, we wouldn't even recognize ourselves today.
Yeah.
Well, we are really excited about this. I think anyone who's been associated with Littleton Public Schools knows about Epic.
Yeah.
They're in their second year, and students are thriving. It's a demand to get in there, and it's running so well. So we're so excited to have Mason and Beth here today. So I'm going to start with you, Beth, and get some questions. We'll give Mason a break just for a minute so he can get prepared. But I'm going to ask you just a couple of questions. One of them that comes to mind right away is local companies, right? We want to build partnerships with local companies. We want to give our kids authentic experiences. Tell us a little bit about what it's been like to try to capture some of those partnerships and any positives or negatives along with that.
That's a great question. It has been an exciting year and a half putting this program together. We have lots and lots of companies that want to engage and be involved at Epic because they are looking for future talent to build their pipeline, right? They have jobs that they need workers. But some of the obstacles that we've run into have been quite interesting. When they first hear high school, they say no, because they don't understand what we're doing at Epic and the skills that students are learning or quite possibly their maturity level. They also think when they hear internship, they think, 40 hours. We don't have 40 hours worth of work, which we're not talking about 40 hours. It's 6 to 9 hours a week.
Right.
Another thing is they think, well, a high school student, they have to be 18 to work for us. And my big question is why? Let's talk about that. And then the other barrier that they just assume is that they say, well, we don't have any after-school programs. And I said, that is great because we don't either. We're doing these internships during the school day.
Right.
So once they learn that and they understand what we're doing, they're all on board.
Any differences in when you first started with them and how they feel about Epic today, now that you've built those relationships, kind of a before and after?
Yes, they come in, they meet with our students, they get into the classrooms, into the labs, see what they're doing, they interact. They want to hire these kids. They are just completely blown away by the level of skill, the level of maturity, the level of professionalism that our students have.
Well, that's sure a testament to the preparation. I know we have multiple pathways at Epic. Is there an internship available in every one of the pathways?
Yes, we have 7 pathways, and every pathway has opportunities. Today we have 42 students in internships across the Denver metro area, and 17 of those are in the construction trades, which I know that Mason will talk to you more about that when he gets his time.
That sounds great. One of the things we like to do on the Toddcast is get feedback from the listeners. They give us questions, and so we preview the next topic at the end of the show, and we'll do that again today. But when we did the preview last time, we got some questions in, and one of the ones that comes up quite a bit, are there any plans to have anything with culinary or fashion design? I know other places do that, and it comes up now and then.
Right.
What are the plans at Epic?
It's interesting. We hear that a lot, and we love that the community is so engaged and so interested and wanting us to expand into future pathways. To my knowledge today, no, we're not going to expand into culinary or fashion design, right, because we have neighboring districts that we send students to. So right now, Littleton Public Schools students can take a culinary pathway, which is called ProStart, with our partner up in Inglewood Schools.
Okay.
So there's no reason for us. They're just up the street. We're not going to duplicate that program. We can send the students up there. I don't know about fashion design down in this area, but at Inglewood, they also provide cosmetology and esthetician. Right. They can go to auto mechanic school through Sheridan Public Schools. That's over at Arapahoe Community College. All of that information is on the district's website, right, the LPS website, and they can go to Career and Technical Education tab, and all the information is there.
So you talked about the internships. Who's eligible for these internships? Who can apply? Are there any stipulations before you can put them in the spots?
Yes. Being a year and a half old, we thought we're going to start with the seniors. We want our seniors to come their junior year and take classes, earn certifications, and then come back their senior year and be able to apply and take those interests and those skills and apply them towards an internship that they would have their spring semester of their senior year.
Okay.
So that's who is eligible today for internships.
I think sometimes when people think about internships and kids 18 or younger, they assume that it's volunteer, they're doing it. I think back to some of the internships I did that weren't paid. Are any of our students being paid in these internships?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yes, half of ours are being paid by the company that they are interning with.
Wow.
The other half are not. It's not a requirement for our companies to pay the students. We'd prefer that they do. Sure. But we were lucky enough to write a grant and win some funds from the City of Centennial that we have to help pay for our interns that are not being paid by the organization they're working for. Yeah. So this year, all of our interns will get compensation, which we think is a big win.
That word of mouth passes, right?
Yes.
They should feel special. They're doing special work, and
Absolutely.
They should get compensated for it. I'm asking all the questions here, John. What are you doing? You want to jump in?
I could jump in.
I think go ahead. I think you should ask a few here.
Yeah. So you talked about a little bit about what it looks like in the system, but tell us about the life and work skills that a student develops in these internships.
So at Epic, our main focus really is to prepare students for the world of work. And so what we're doing is we're helping them build like a virtual tool belt is what I call it. And so in there they can get concurrent enrollment for higher ed. They can get content credit towards their graduation in high school. They can earn industry certifications that will help them get jobs directly out of high school or later after their higher ed experience. We also teach workforce readiness skills at EPIC. So 40% of their grade is based on communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and professionalism. So we really focus on those skills so that they know how to use those skills out in the workforce.
And I was a part of the process a little bit as an interviewer, but tell us about the application process and the interview process for the internship program.
So we try to make it as real as possible. So students have to come to a mandatory meeting, so they have to have a little bit of skin in the game. They come, they say, I'm interested in this internship program. They have to put together a professional resume. They have to write a cover letter. Then we built an online application system, so they have to go through learning how to apply online. And then we put through some mock interviews, so all the students went through that practice. Those resumes were submitted to the industry partners. Those industry partners reviewed those cover letters and resumes, chose the students they wanted to interview. Then the industry partner came into EPIC and sat down and conducted 30 to 45-minute interviews. And then the industry partner gets to select the student that best fits their culture, the skills needed, and they join the team in January. So it's really wonderful.
That's something else. I got to tell you, you had such a successful time being our foundation director, but I don't know if you remember this. I came over last year and watched you light up with those students. Do you remember when I came and you were helping a girl? She was getting ready to go to an interview, and you were sitting back in one of the booths and you were helping her with her interview questions. It was just so great to see that. And I think our kids get to experience that. We have Mason here. I think we ought to talk with him. He's the talent. And I got to tell the audience, usually I'm the one that's the most fidgety up here, and I have all kinds of rules about my hands and what I do. But I'm watching Mason over here, and he may be just a little bit more than me.
Ready.
We are so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Let's get you started. This experience is about you. Tell us about your internship and give us the details on that. What are you working on, and how's it made a difference for you?
Yeah, so I am working for Hensel Phelps through Lockheed Martin, just right over here in Waterton Canyon. It's been a great experience, number one. I mean, we started doing carpentry. Mainly that's what we do at Hensel. So anything from concrete molds, foam inserts for concrete, temporary stairs, temporary walls, pretty much everything involving that. So we've been working up there doing a lot of that stuff. I can't really tell you guys as to what goes on inside of that facility.
How come?
It is a testing facility, so we are not technically allowed to disclose what's in there.
Do you have to sign any agreements or anything?
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay. All right. I don't want to know.
Neither confirm nor deny.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
All right.
But yeah, we build some, I will say this, we do get to build some pretty cool stuff, and especially starting at age 17, now 18, it's definitely been a different experience for sure.
That's fantastic. How has the EPIC campus, and I know you're a heritage student, how has that prepared you for this experience?
It definitely prepared me on the heritage aspect, definitely academically. It definitely caused me to be more work ethic based. So making sure that work ethic comes into play, especially one of my teachers, I want to mention her on here, Miss Melton. She definitely was one of the big partners in what helped in today's everyday life. She's been definitely a contributing factor to that. She has been great, especially in English communications through her very grown up stuff that she's been teaching us, and it's been very helpful, especially on the work site, everyday life, stuff like that. So that part of maturity has definitely helped a lot. Especially with the job. And then EPIC, the opportunities are endless with EPIC, and that kind of gave everyone, including myself, these open pathways that we could do. So definitely with EPIC, it's taught me a lot of mental maturity, work ethic, all that stuff, and it's something different, I will say. But it's a great different.
Man, I feel like an adult sitting right here next to me. What are your career plans? How has this shaped your future?
Definitely considering two different career options for sure. This one, specifically construction, has definitely opened one of the biggest pathways I could ever imagine. Most kids nowadays are not able to have these experiences, and they're having to go through these trade schools and wait till they're 20, 21 until they're even apprentices going into these major companies like Hensel Phelps, Kiewit, Saunders Construction, and EPIC completely blows that door wide open for you at such a young age. Like some kids are going at 16, 17, 18, and you're way ahead of the 8-ball compared to everybody else, especially in construction, even in our other pathways. It is definitely a game changer for most students, and it's been a game changer for me.
I'm going to ask you one last question. What advice would you give students that are coming up in the next Mason? What would you tell them?
I definitely say keep an open mind, for sure. pretty much try your best at everything you do. Because especially like with Epic, for example, if you end up going, anything could happen and you just got to let it happen. So take those risks, make sure that you're being very gutsy with it. So, because the sky's the limit, especially at Epic.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Beth, Mason, we really appreciate you answering these questions and hope you stay with us. We're going to do a little bit more in the show here, but
thank you for
really
having us.
Yeah, I just need to mention that I have an intern also in the finance department at Littleton.
Right.
He's a great student, great learner, and thank you to Beth and Epic to put us together. So
well, we
he's doing a
appreciate
great
your
job.
partnership.
Yeah.
LPS, we have 6 students interning within the organization. And I think that speaks volumes to our community and our industry partners that you are putting your money where your mouth is and you're hiring our students. I think it's great.
Yeah, we agree. All right. Well, let's do a few things here to close. We want to remind our listeners that if you're here and you have questions or things you want to submit, we want to encourage you to do so. We're going to preview our next topic here in just a minute. But before we do, we also want to share some of the upcoming events that are going on in the system. We want you to check out the newsroom on the LPS website. There's a lot of great stuff there. When we put things on, you can go back for reference. It sticks there. Some of the most important communications we have. We also want to let everyone know, I know it's the last day of February, but it was Career Tech Ed Month this past month, as well as Concurrent Enrollment Month. And LPS students are just getting some great opportunities with that, and we just really appreciate that. Anything else going on, John?
Yeah, so we have our parent-teacher conferences in the first week of March, so watch out for your local schools and getting those scheduled. Also, we have some spring musicals coming. So we have Littleton has Cinderella, March 6th through 8th, Arapahoe County Fair, March 13th through 15th, and Heritage, Mamma Mia, March 13th through 15th. So those sound fun.
Big competition that weekend, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, hot tickets, so get them early. We also have spring break coming up. Last week of March, so that's pretty exciting. Mason, you're excited about that?
Very, very.
Very good.
Beth, do you have any updates for us?
We have 2 really fantastic events coming up. On March 10th, our entrepreneurship teams, the top 4 are going to be competing and pitching their businesses. And it's open to the public. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. at Epic Campus on March 10th. We'd love to have everyone come and hear our students' ideas on their businesses. And on April 7th, we are having a construction and design hiring event for all of our students that are looking for summer work and starting their career. So that will be a really fun event as well.
Very cool. So speaking of spring break, what is one of your favorite memories from spring break? Beth, we'll start with you.
I used to go to Palm Springs with my girlfriends, and we would go out there, and believe it or not, back in the day, our parents trusted us in a house. We'd go out there and lay by the pool and have a great time.
Nice.
That's what we did.
Nice.
Definitely have to be spring skiing back when I was on Team Summit and whatnot. Just get a big group of guys. Snow's starting to get really slushy out there, and we just do as many dumb things as we can and just have fun on spring break.
Very good.
It's great to be a kid, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
You know, I think I always talk about spring break when you're younger, but my favorite spring break memory is taking my son, Aaron, who's now 25, and seeing his expression the first time his toes hit the sand. And just the wonderment of that and just the feel of that and having him immerse himself in it. That's a memory I'll never forget.
Yeah. I always just remember we always used to get this like big heavy snow, right? So it's that last hit of winter, and then it all melts really quickly, and the fresh flowers are starting to come up. So that's exciting for, time of year.
All right, let's close this thing out. Our next episode is going to be an interesting one. Following Colorado politics, we're going to talk about all things in the legislature, probably mostly focusing on school funding. There's a lot of volatility in that right now, and we'll have some special guests for that, but we're really looking forward to that one. There's be some interesting topics for it. We also want to remind everyone, subscribe to the Toddcast. You have that availability. You can catch us in many different ways, but if you want to subscribe, we'll keep you updated on the episodes and all the things that go with it. I want to thank Beth and Mason for joining us today. John, you're always an amazing co-host.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up today, and until the next time we're together, we hope you all have a great day.